You are listening to Ablaze Bible Reflections. Today's passage is Matthew chapter 6, read by Isioma. Point of view. Matthew 6 invites the reader to reflect on the importance of point of view. The term derives from visual art, where the location of the viewer determines the form in which an object appears. The place where you stand determines what you see. A low angle enlarges an object, a high angle reduces it, a close angle reveals details, and distance hides them. The same object changes shape depending on the observer's position. So it is with life. We see from where we stand. Our position shapes perception, perception shapes understanding, and understanding shapes how we live. Matthew builds the entire chapter on this insight. Jesus opens with a warning. Be careful not to perform your righteousness before others to be seen by them. Matthew 6, verse 1. This reveals three spheres of sight and perception. First, how we see ourselves. Second, how we want others to see and affirm us. Third, how the Father sees, the one who knows all things, including the intentions of the heart. He illustrates this through three acts of piety: almsgiving, prayer, and fasting. These practices are good, but the intention matters. Many perform them to be seen and praised. In almsgiving, Matthew 6, verses 2-4, people give publicly to attract admiration. Jesus redirects our sight. True giving happens in secret, where only the Father sees. Jesus is not criticizing the act, but the point of view. If the aim is to be admired, the reward ends with the applause. If the aim is to honor God, the act carries lasting value because it is shaped by the Father's sight. Prayer follows the same pattern. Matthew 6, verses 5-15. Some pray loudly to impress. Jesus instructs us to enter the quiet room and pray to the Father in secret. True prayer grows from intention, not attention. Jesus places forgiveness at the center, because unforgiveness clouds the heart and blocks prayer. If you hold others in the prison of their mistakes, you cannot expect to walk freely in the grace you seek. Matthew 6, verses 14-15. God sees both our words and our motives. Fasting completes the set. Matthew 6, verses 16-18. Some fast for pity and attention. Jesus says, wash your face, move normally, and let the Father see your devotion. Pope Francis calls those who pray this way people with a funeral face, giving the impression of sorrow instead of sincere faith. True piety focuses on God and not human evaluation. The three practices together teach one lesson. Piety becomes authentic only when it flows from the Father's point of view. Jesus then moves from actions to values. He speaks of treasure in Matthew 6, verses 19-21. He does not forbid storing or building. He asks the reader to notice where treasure is placed. Earthly treasure ties us to human praise and competition. Heavenly treasure aligns us with God's kingdom. Where your treasure is, your heart will follow. He speaks next of the eye as the lamp of the body in Matthew 6, verses 22-23. The eye is the lens through which we see the world. When the eye is healthy, we see clearly. When it is wounded, everything looks dark. Jesus is speaking of spiritual perception. When our inner lenses are shaped by hurt, fear, or bitterness, nothing looks good. When healed, we recognize beauty, hope, and God's presence. Some of us need God to change our lenses so we can see life as He sees it. Then Jesus addresses service in Matthew 6, verse 24. No one can serve two masters. Serving mammon means letting society define our success and outsourcing our worth to material validation. When people serve mammon, they allow money, possessions, and the opinions of others to decide who they are. To serve God, however, is to stand under the sight of the Father and receive identity from Him alone. What shapes our point of view becomes our master. If human eyes define us, we become restless and insatiable. If God defines us, we find peace and contentment. Jesus closes with the issue of worry in Matthew 6, verses 25 to 34. Worry grows when we stand in the wrong place, when the gaze of others determine our value, or when fear of tomorrow rules our hearts. Peace disappears. Jesus points us to the birds and the lilies, creatures who live under the Father's faithful sight. The problem, Jesus says, is little faith. Not lack of knowledge, but lack of spiritual insight and understanding. Faith is a way of seeing, a new point of view that reminds us who we are and keeps worry and anxiety from ruling our lives. The chapter moves to its center when Jesus says, "Seek first the kingdom of God" in Matthew 6, verse 33. This is a call to adopt the point of view of the Father. It is an invitation to see the world from the place where God rules and provides. When the disciple stands there, the future loses its power to frighten. Life regains order. Jesus closes by saying, "Do not worry about tomorrow" in Matthew 6, verse 34. Each day carries its own grace. And now the question comes home to us. From where do you see the world? What gives you your worth? Where do you look for affirmation? Is your point of view shaped by the expectations of people, by fear of the future, or by the desire to impress? Or do you see yourself through the steady gaze of the Father who sees in secret? Faith is a way of seeing. It is the lens through which we understand our worth, set our priorities, and recognize our place in God's world. When our point of view is shaped by faith, our actions, relationships, and desires begin to align with the Father's will, and our hearts rest where our true treasure is found. May God renew our sight, heal our perceptions, and teach us to see ourselves and our world through His eyes. God bless you. Stay close to the Word, the Ablaze team.